So, we talked about already, the actual ecosystem itself, the communication ecosystem. Then we talked about, some of the systems that are in place to put it together and how they communicate across with the phraseology and things like that. We talked about the business. Before we jump back in, please hit subscribe on your podcast platform, right? It helps us continue to bring this content to you. We really appreciate it. And if you prefer watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button there. You can watch the full video version. As always, hit like and things like that, and comment and share for what you see with your friends. We really appreciate delivering this content to you. This is a way for us to know that we're giving you the right things that you want to hear. Now we're going to drive into the human and technology integration, where it comes together, where the rubber meets the road, right? So at its core, air traffic control, or ATC, is a layered system of humans supported by technologists. You got controllers who could juggle workloads, situational awareness, handoffs, radar inputs, weather, separation, standards, and all that happens in real time. And from a business standpoint, there's challenges, the staffing challenges matter, and we've all probably lived that, particularly this year, right? And when these short staff issues happen, which has been a recurring issue, right? Delays increase, upwards of 20 to 30%, even in some, massive points where we had, huge cancel flights, things like that happen. And that's hundreds of millions of dollars of value that's lost across not only airlines, but thousands of flight hours that's been lost for military applications, right? And then you got the people piece of it, and the integration is another challenge. You got different radars, SDBs, ADSBs, voice switching, data links, and all that it has this thing called interoperability that must occur. And you need to keep that up to date, keep the upgrading, and that's consistently changing the radios out, looking at the avionics, working through the data links, what's the communication infrastructure backbone of each aircraft. And that can run, upwards of $300K per aircraft, depending on how massive the platform. So, but the ROI in it is massive if you're able to mitigate these things along the way. And particularly if new technology comes in, new opportunities come in, we got, reducing the delays, improve the routing, and from a commercial standpoint, and then our defense operators don't have this thing called confliction, and you can easily deconflict what's happening in the aerospace from that point. Rob, what you got that's happening from a technology perspective?
Yeah, so I think, we're going to talk technical for a little bit. So with emergent aircraft, drones, uncrewed systems, eVTOLs are really entering the same constrained airspace. And that integration requires them to really have uncrewed traffic management, detect and avoid communication, digital IDs, priority rules, and then that shared situational awareness. And a lot of these are really creating new revenue streams. So data services, traffic management subscriptions, cybersecurity layers, and every one of these vehicles will require constant digital communication, meaning the entire ecosystem gets more complex and then also more valuable for customers, subcontractors, and others.
Right. So this is the part where if you're in this space, particularly from a business standpoint, if you pick one of those 5 things that that can be your niche market specifically. And if you do those things well and understand the ecosystem, particularly with, unmanned aircraft and things like that, this is going to be critical to help grow your business, but also give you a smoother flight to get things off the ground. So aerospace communication is the nervous system of global mobility, right? When we say this is a multi-billion-dollar niche business, because it's just dealing with the communication, it's because of the companies that build, secure, and operate communications backbone. They are some of the traditional powerhouses in this aerospace market, right? And some of the major players, from the air traffic management and ATC providers across the world, firms that make the brains, could be like Thales and Indra, RTX, L3 Harris, Leonardo, Saab, Frequentis. And then you got other businesses that, they either do the digital tower and the airport operations modernization, and they buy capacity and building new powers because they just making everything digitized, right? And Saab has a great solution for that. And then you got aircraft to ground comm networks, and this is the plumbing behind everything between the cockpit and the ground. And so those are opportunities where some of the players, where the major players are playing at some of the niches in the market space there it is.
Yeah, and the reason governments and industry keep investing is very simple. You can't scale air traffic on voice and legacy infrastructure alone, especially with this weather volatility that we noticed drastically over the past few years, staffing constraints, and then also more aircraft in the system.
Exactly. So the spending happens for three reasons. Obviously, safety and compliance is first. Capacity and efficiency, which helps with the delays, improve the throughput. That's where you get your growth and get your business value up. And then resiliency and security, which you got to have that continuity. And this is why this niche keeps growing.